All right. What's up? We're here live with Devin. What's up, Devin, man? I
What's
appreciate you
up?
joining us.
Yeah, dude, what's up, guys? I appreciate you guys for having me on here. It's a great honor to be here with you two. I watched you guys last season and feel like I'm sitting here with two of the greats. So thank you.
Not the grades.
Well,
Or not the grades.
yeah.
Man.
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I agree with McCrae. There's so many greats out there. I don't know if we make the list, but as far as the greatest entertainers in Big Brother history, I'd say we're here with one of the greatest entertainers that I've seen in a long time in Big Brother, man. We love watching you play. I mean, I'm a member of the Bomb Squad, baby. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, we all are, man. I need more. I need more. It's strength in numbers, man.
Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. Exactly. Exactly. I want to get to all that, but before we do, let's rewind and let's talk about from when you very first got involved. Now, I understand that you and an ex-girlfriend applied for the Amazing Race. So let's go. Let's kind of go start from there and tell us how you got into the Big Brother house. Walk us through all that.
Yeah, definitely. An ex-girlfriend of mine, we applied for the Amazing Race. Didn't hear anything back for about 8 months, and we went through a little bit of a breakup, obviously. And I'm sitting out on my porch in Texas at my sister's house, and I get a call from casting asking me, are you still with that ex-girlfriend? And I said, no. They go, perfect. And so they said, have you ever heard about Big Brother? And I'm like, of course. And I've caught in some seasons and some episodes from here to here, but I wasn't, a super fan like McCrae was. And I definitely started watching, went through the whole casting process, and they liked what they saw, and at the end of the day, I was standing on the stage getting ready to go into the Big Brother house. It was an amazing experience, and I feel very blessed to have had the opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
No.
I don't know. That's the thing is like, yeah, okay, I was a super fan, but at the same time, super fans, in my opinion, make like crappy house guests to watch because super fans want to lay low. Like, I'm always gonna lay low. Like, you get in there and you're just kind of like, I'm going with the flow. I'm gonna be me, Like, I don't give a shit. Like, this is who I am. I don't know. Like, I was not myself in the house. Like, you were very. I bet you were yourself.
For the most part, that was me. I'm definitely very passionate and everything like that. But it was weird when you walk through that front door. It's like you have that game plan going, and I considered myself, and it's funny now, I considered myself a student of the game because I literally was watching season after season over and over. And the thing about being a super fan is you guys have the best opportunity, the best chance to actually win that 500K. Somebody like me, what happened to me exactly is when I walked through that door, that game plan went out the window. And, I was just living on the excitement of the house, trying to make moves. I felt like a target. And, obviously you don't make the best judgment in the house, but for the most part, that was me, other than the paranoia. But, just definitely didn't make the best moves.
Well, it's a pressure cooker. And one thing I think it's safe to I think you'll probably agree with this, you can't anticipate how much downtime there is, how long each day is, and there's just so much time to think. When you're on lockdown inside or when you're locked down outside, your mind just goes crazy. It really can. It can get away from you.
I'll tell you what, it was the nicest. I compare the Big Brother house to a prison. Obviously, the nicest prison I've ever seen. But yeah, it's a prison, man. I couldn't even work out, couldn't do my stuff because it's like there's only so many places to go, so many places to hide, and it definitely gets to you. On TV, as a spectator, you see competition, a little bit of banter, and more competition. In the house, it's completely opposite, as you guys know, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, having the Battle of the Block, did that give you guys a little bit extra, like, did you guys get more I mean, of course you got more competitions. Well, actually, no, because...
No, have not.
Have not competition was just replaced, so there's more people playing. Actually, no, because the whole house played. Yeah, that kind of sucks. You guys actually kind of got screwed out of more competitions, really.
Yeah, I mean, and it was really confusing because when you hear the Battle of the Block, I think you heard me early on say, it's about getting out the floaters. We don't want any floaters here down at the end. And then probably about a week into it, I realized, I'm like, how stupid is that? I said the Battle of the Block is to use the floaters to get these strong players out.
Yeah.
Is what I took from that. And
I agree.
Well, as a strong player yourself, you would, you obviously don't look to start turning the tides and get strong players out. But no, like as a super fan and as somebody has played, I knew that this twist was going to be set up, and especially the first weeks that they didn't know, y'all wouldn't know how exactly it was going to play out. So the easiest thing would be to put up the weaker people, and then if it doesn't work out in your favor, fuck it. You don't have anybody too serious that can come after you. And it ended up like the first week, Donnie, until he won that veto, he was in trouble. And hey, let's get into Donnie right quick. I've got a question here that I want to ask from Bobby at Bobby Ham, Bobby with the I. Okay, looking back, do you think you would have gotten farther if you just stayed loyal to Donnie?
Obviously, hindsight's 20/20, and
Sure.
I definitely know that if I would have stayed tight with Donnie, I would have made it tremendously further in the game than I did. I mean, obviously, I didn't know about the Team America twist, but I know Donnie would have protected me. Loyalty's a huge thing to him, and I definitely broke that bond and that trust. But at the same time, you hear Julie say twist after twist going into the house, and everybody in that house is pretty much, other than Jocasta and Donnie, very similar in age and everything.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what Donnie was hiding behind that beard, man. I wanted to know what was going on.
And your imaginations run away from you when you're in the house. You'll believe anything, and once you start thinking about it, clues build up, and all of a sudden, you do have this whole picture painted that's just this totally unreal thing, and you'll never know. There's no perspective.
But in the house, it totally makes sense. You know, you can make up clues that you put together in your head that totally make sense, and that's just kind of because people are lying to you. So the fact that people are lying to you makes you think everybody's lying to you about everything at times, and that paranoia will eat your brain. It will eat your brain.
Dude, how many people last season, when you got out, did you hear say, McCrae cannot be a pizza boy? He's probably some evil genius, And it's man, he's a pizza boy.
The whole time, the whole fucking time.
No,
exactly.
In the house, I thought that McCrae definitely could, I thought that there definitely could be something to that. I was at the same time that a man, and I think everybody else in the house realized that he wasn't a millionaire. It was when during one of the competitions they said who's most likely to live in their parents' basement, and the answer was McCrae, and we knew America had voted on it. So we thought, oh well, fuck, never mind, he's not some doctor or .com millionaire. So,
man.
Anyway, hey, okay, with Donnie, let's stay on Donnie for just a little bit. When you called some phenomenal house meetings, the meeting to kind of smooth over the Donnie situation, why admirable. I think that it ended up helping Donnie so much, and if you wanted to help Donnie out with the house, you definitely did that. I think it was to your detriment though. Tell me about all that. Start at when you were gathering people up and what your intentions were.
Yeah, so I had gone to Donnie first, and I what happened was, man, I was sitting there, and it was a conversation I had with Donnie in the dark. And what people don't realize is, when you see it on TV, things are edited in a way where things have happened first or second. And I forget what night it was, but I was talking to Donnie, and he was really emotional, where you actually see me standing over his bed and he's crying, and I didn't believe him then. And there was something about a grown man crying. I'm like, dude, this guy is a great actor. And then we're laying in the dark in the room, and I'm talking to him. I said, Donnie, man, I got to be straight up with you, man. I don't know if you are who you say you are. And his response to me was just amazing. He sat there and he goes, Devin, I'm Donnie Thompson from North Carolina. He goes, even if you're not who you say you are, he goes, I still got your back. And at that moment, I was like, wow, man, I think I've made a huge mistake. And so I molded over for a couple days, and seeing him fight off the block, and he was still so genuine with me. I was like, my emotions got into it. I was playing with my heart, because the last thing I wanted to do was to have my daughter look back on this and be like, my dad kind of screwed over this good old, groundskeeper, And so the house meeting, it didn't go as I wanted it to. I was trying to basically let everybody know that I had made a mistake, and I didn't want anybody to pass judgment on Caleb either. And I was hoping at the same time that by being potentially a little honest with the house, that they would look at me and want to work with me later and say, man, this is a guy that can make a mistake but actually come to you and say that he's wrong. Obviously, that definitely does not work in the Big Brother house at all.
No. Hey, that brings me to a question we got off of Twitter. Kim Weber 4492 wants to know, and she comments twice here, and she appreciates that you tried to play honest for your daughter, like you just said. But do you think that you put too much pressure on yourself to play an honest game, and that could have been a possible downfall for you? Do you think that a lot of external pressure of the outside of the house played a huge role in the way you played your game?
100%. I mean, anytime you're doing it for somebody else and not yourself, there's a little added pressure. At the same time, I'm not going to lie, your guys' season scared the crap out of me. There was so much that obviously went on, during your guys' season. The one that scared me the most was when Aaron walked out. I'd never seen somebody come out to so many boos before, and that actually scared me. The last thing I wanted to do was, if I went out, come out to a reception like that and to have America hate me. This is now 100%. I think it's safe to say this is America's game, and I wanted to make people proud, but at the same time, I wanted to be able to hold my head high when I walked out. So, being honest, if I could do it again, I would do it wholeheartedly, knowing I'm playing a game, and I would play it a completely different way.
Yeah.
How would you play? Do you think you would go in and how would you play it differently?
Yeah.
I would just say that I would definitely still bring the excitement and entertainment, but I'd probably do it in a dispersed manner, maybe not so much in such a short period of time. I would definitely probably lay on that couch similar to what Dan did and just kind of lay low for a little bit. You don't really get to know these people in the house till probably about week 4, and I was able to sit there and look at people and realize this is what makes Christine tick. Derek's this way. Frankie's actually running around the house playing everybody like a fiddle. Mm-hmm. And you can see that come about week 4. And 28 days in, I was really saddened that I didn't, play the game a little bit softer and then really gun it at the end. I think that I could have stepped up my social game and then really came for everybody at the end with the competitions. So.
Yeah. The laying low strategy was definitely not yours, but one thing about you, Devin, that I was critical about and I was a Devin fan from the get-go, and I'll be honest with you, McCrae backed me, but you said that the 3 adjectives to describe you were complex, loyal, and entertaining, and I don't really know about the loyal as far as in the game, but you were definitely complex and you're definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
I was really worried about those two. Those were the 2 hard.
You were very, very entertaining.
Blew my fucking mind. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I was able to listen to Judd when I got home talk about me, and Judd. I was talking to him the other day on Twitter, and dude, he busted my balls so hard on one of these podcasts. And he's like, I don't know what Devin's doing, man. Is it the Devin show? He doesn't have an idea, a clue how to play this game. And it was hilarious, dude. Like, you go in there and nothing is what you think it's going to be. And I definitely lost my mind in there, safe to say.
Oh, dude. And it's not you didn't lose your mind. You just played Big Brother. That's what Big Brother does to you. That's why it's like this special fraternity of people that have played it. That's why, like, we can't wait to meet you and hang out in real life. Like, we're starstruck talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that's why this thing is so much fun, and that's why, like, next season you'll watch and you'll bust somebody else's balls. You know what I mean? And because we know what it's like, and that's what makes it truly fun and gives us this connection. So.
No doubt. And same back at you guys, dude. I'm honored just to be here, so I'm starstruck myself. So.
Yeah. It's crazy. McCrae and I are a bunch of fanboys. Well, we love doing this podcast. If nothing else, it's our own little sick pleasure of getting to talk to people as they come out of the house, So, I want to ask you a question back from Twitter. At Mattman608 wants to know, what do you think about Zach after his POV blow up? I mean, that was big, dude. You sat there and you just smiled, and I know that was awkward. I mean, trust me, I've had somebody blow up. I've had somebody blow up at me. Candace, she called me out, man, and that's a weird situation to be called out in front of everybody. And anyway, let's go, man. Roll with it. Tell us all about Zach's POV ceremony, and please start with deciding to put him up. Please start. At
I wanted to backtrack before I actually got to the actual blow up, but if I could do that one a little bit smarter, I probably obviously would have pulled Pal down and put Victoria up, let them 2 campaign against each other because they were somewhat close in the house at the time. And the big thing about it was pulling Brittany down. The house, really came at me and said, they voiced how they wanted Brittany to stay. Everybody in there wanted their friends to stay. And I was like, all right, fine, I got to pull her down. But I want to hear if there's something that she's going to say to me that's actually going to make me truly want to pull her down. So I had the conversation with her up in the HOH, and she started talking about her finances and her kids and how she'd missed out on so much, whether it be birthdays, all-stars and stuff. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm a product of a single mother. I'm not going to let this girl go out the door without getting another week to at least fight it out. So I decided to use it on her, but at the same time, I thought it would put me back in good graces with the house, and still didn't do it. The biggest mistake that had happened in that moment.
Why did you think that, Devin, at that point? Why did you think that saving Brittany, especially after making such a complex deal with Pow Pow, to use it on her to throw the bat on the block? Why did you think that? Why did you think that would gain you favor?
Well, you know what? There were so many women in the house that Zach had rubbed wrong by some of the comments he had made. There was really almost like a feminist, march against Zach in the house, and they really didn't show that on the TV. But a lot of the girls were like, forget Zach, screw Zach, we got to get him out of here. So Zach, basically, when I found out that he was, going behind my back, saying some things and not coming to me and expressing that, it really made me feel like, do I trust Zach? When he had asked me in the living room, hey, just put me up on the block, pull Brittany down, that's all the kid had to say. I'm like, all right, there we go. I see where
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think that was a very interesting moment because I watched that on the live feeds. Like I said, McCrae and I keep up with it. And obviously he wasn't being serious. He was tired. He hadn't slept. He was kind of just being like an asshole, like, fucking put me up, whatever, Devin. I mean, we've all said things like that before, and any other person would have been like, man, hey, let's just, go get some sleep. We'll catch up later or whatever.
But at the same time, I agree. I agree with Devin, where it's like at the same time, if someone comes up and is like, oh, put me up, it's like, he just said to put him up. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is a free card.
But this is the thing inside the house. Zach was going around telling everybody how he wanted to self-evict and how he didn't want to be there.
Exactly. I remember that. Yeah, and that fucking makes me mad.
That pissed me off. We all wanted to be there. But two, man, this kid had done something to me. I pulled him off to the side and talked to him privately. He had done some things. He'd said some things about Victoria, whether that be true or not. That me being a father, I didn't want to sit there and have to justify to people why I saved him later in the game when he had said so many harsh things about some of the women in the house. And that was a personal move. I didn't want Zach in the house after that. So, yeah, I took some personal feelings and I put that on Zach by putting him up there, which is not a smart game move. But at the time, I did not want that kid in the house for the life of me.
Okay. So basically when he said that was just he said it so you could use that against him. It was the perfect time, and he couldn't eat those words. Okay. I mean, I get that. I get that, looking for that opportunity. So take us all the way up to you're about to blow the house's mind by taking Brittany off and not Pow Pow and put Zach up. So Zach's up there, I love that, whatever that was, and he was up.
Yeah, so I put Zach up. The biggest mistake in that moment was Brittany, dude. It would have gone smooth. I was walking away, the veto meeting was over, and Brittany goes, can I say something? And I was like, oh, shit. I was expecting Zach to go off, but what actually fueled Zach's fire even more was Pow Pow started after Brittany said, Pow's my target, and this and that, I know you threw it, which Brittany should have kept confidential like we had talked about.
Sure.
Powell went off, and it just fueled Zach even more, and I'm just like, shit, man. So I responded to Powell a little bit like, hey, come on, don't sit there and even, act like this. Everybody knew you were going to throw it. Don't try and save face now. And I was hoping that, I think people would have saved, even Donnie and I talked, people would have kept Powell that week because she was so valuable as a floater. You can get her, you were able to manipulate her and to get her to do whatever you wanted. But Zach, he was a threat to me. So when Zach comes out and starts doing his whole gator chomp, whatever he's doing, I'm like, oh, shit. The best thing I can do not to respond to this kid is to not respond at all. Like, I need to sit here and just let him go off. I need to stay calm, cool, and collected. And I just kept smiling. And I was trying to let the house know that, hey, even under pressure, I can stay calm and not blow anybody's game up like Zach was blowing everybody's game up.
But you were very smart to do that too, because by doing that, you allowed Zach to keep talking because he was trying to make a scene and a spectacle, and in doing so, he caused some problems for himself in the game. I mean, obviously not enough to get voted out, but you know, he didn't. He definitely did too much talking, and that's Zach's biggest problem. Is he does not know when to keep his mouth shut. I mean, that's his problem that got him in hot water with in the first place. Is when the group was together, he was like, we got to get Devin out, and then Caleb told you somebody said that, and then when he came to you trying to be honest, you were like, fuck you, I can't trust you now. Like,
exactly.
You know, once your name came out of his mouth as possible to go up and get out, that you were never going to be able to look at him the same. So,
well, that was the first sign of actually in the Big Brother house. You know, people come to you and say one thing to your face, and then go behind your back and do another. That's clear as day. Everybody knows it. But that was actually the very first evident sign the entire time I was in the house that people were actually doing that. Because Zach and I were actually really tight. He'd come to me, dude, I respect you. Even after the Donnie situation, he was like, he came into the storage room, dude, I respect you as a man. That was awesome. That was great. And I'm like, oh, man, I got great reception for that. And then when he sits there and says what he says and I catch him in a lie, I'm just like, dude, I don't even want to talk. Get going, kick rocks, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you suspect him? Did you suspect him if he'd kept his mouth shut? Would it have all been good, or would you have pressed Caleb harder, or what?
You know, at that point, dude, I knew the whole alliance, bro. That was the biggest mistake. An 8-person alliance trying to control 7 people's opinions. I knew that the people in the alliance, especially Christine, I started suspecting Christine is talking shit when all the girls were, when all of a sudden she would say, "Oh, I'm really scared." What are you scared of? Like I never understood that. And then you go around, you know, ruffling feathers. Cody had his thing. I didn't realize Cody and Zach were so tight. I mean, you can't keep an eye on 7 other people. So that's when I would have started picking off that alliance one by one as the weeks went down. To be honest with you.
When you added Christine and Amber to the bomb squad, talk to me about the authority you felt in doing that, and did you do it out of fear, just to gain numbers, or what? Talk to me about the addition of Christine and Amber, because that's kind of when things started to get kind of shaky.
Yeah, so Joey had run around. I obviously didn't until I watched the actual tapes. I didn't realize Joey was set on starting this all-girl alliance as a wonderful feminist that she is. But I realized at some point in time where it was brought to my attention that she was trying to start this all-girls alliance. The last thing I wanted to do was lose Christine to this all-girls alliance. She's cutthroat. She's a super fan. She knows what she's doing. She's very calculating. She's actually a very good player. I would rather work with her than go against this girl. So I brought her in. Amber, if you can see in the footage, I mean, Amber was just up all night. She was tagging along, and the way I justified that was Caleb's got this crazy infatuation with her. I would rather have them in the same alliance having a showmance than being outside in separate alliances trying to, you know, go against each other. That shit would have been a fucking circus. I can appreciate that school of thought there, Devin. I would do a very similar thing, and if Amanda had been brought in, you know, who knows? Oh man, the movie company.
You know, it's one of those things. But dude, I really do like your answer to that, because Christine knows her shit. You'd much rather have somebody that's smart working with you than against you. Little did you know that bringing her in, she was still going to be working against you. But at least you're able to identify a kind of a power player in the house. Who do you think are playing the best games right now, and who do you think's in the best position?
Yeah, I definitely think that Derek's playing the best game in the house right now. He's really in good favor with the house, in my opinion. And the fact that he's a cop, dude, I mean, he's able to read people, especially an undercover cop.
Yeah, how did you take that? How did you react to that? What was your first reaction?
Dude, I got that one first, and it was in a phone press conference the next morning, and I literally stopped talking. I banged on the desk, and I just started laughing my ass off. I'm like, no fucking way, dude. Yeah. I'm like, this guy's perfect. I mean, I have to applaud him for that, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was talking at one point. You guys can't see it because they have us in the HOH lockdown. But before one of the days, and he's sitting there. He even brings it up. He goes, "Man, Devin, you know, me being a Parks and Rec guy." He goes, "You know, my favorite thing to do is raking the baseball field. I rake it all day." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, I totally get that." And now I feel dumb as shit.
Yeah. That's funny. That's so funny.
Because, dude, in the preseason, he was like, "I'm gonna keep that I'm a cop a secret," and I was like, dude, you look like a cop. There's no way you're gonna be able to like shield that from anybody. But
Dude, he looks like he's 12, dude. He looks like he's 12 in real life.
Growing the chin strap and the amount of like slang that he uses, like and the tattoo and stuff, like he's a cool dude. And like so like I don't know, like I see why he does well undercover. I mean, he's a cool dude. He's a very chilled out guy and he's sharp. He's very smart.
Very much so.
Eric's playing the best game. What do you think about Caleb right now? Now that you're out of there, it's pretty clear that Caleb is the next largest physical threat to have to deal with. There's been talk this week. I don't know how much of the feeds you've been able to keep up with since you got out. I know that it's hard to get adjusted back to the world, and the feeds might be the last thing you're wanting to watch. But Caleb's in an odd position. What's your take on it now that you're gone? What's next for Caleb?
Yeah, obviously, anybody that watches the feeds knows that this kid's safe this week. I think I had a good talk and conversation with him before I left, and I told him, dude, you're gonna have to start really, banding with the house and stop being so. He's playing the game like it's Survivor, and I told him, you got to distance yourself from Amber, dude. She's gonna be your downfall. You can't be staring at Cody like you're gonna go over there and just rip his jugular out every time they're having a conversation. And I think he understands, but I think Caleb's in a unique situation right now because I think he is going to be that guy in every season that is – he could be you, Spence. He is that target where they could throw him up on the block every week to get somebody else out. They will look at him and say, hey, Caleb's always going to be a target. Let's get this person out. This guy will always take the heat off of me, so let's keep him around. So I think he's going to end up being that guy. I think he might stick around for a little bit. Okay,
so you're predicting that Caleb is going to be possibly pawned off as somebody that can be gotten rid of farther down the road. I think that there's too many smart people that have the potential to win competitions in there right now that are scared of Caleb. And in the house, there's the fear. I don't see them. I think that I'm being critical of your answer at all, but I think that you see Caleb through a lens of he's not a physical threat to you. But, man, he's a monster compared to the rest of the people in the house. If I was in there, I'd be like, holy shit, man.
At the same time, but, if I'm Cody, all right, the whole thing with Cody, though, is, all right, so everyone was, kind of we should try to go after Caleb. And Cody was like, oh, I would be a pussy not to go after Caleb. I think that it'd be dumb to go after Caleb for one reason is that after he goes, Cody's the next biggest physical threat, pretty much, right?
Well, he is. I see once Caleb leaves, Derek becoming a bigger threat. I think he exposed a lot of his game and a lot of his intelligence by getting Devin out. Like, Devin, to get you out, it took a huge, calculated, complicated plan in order to get you backdoored because of the Battle of the Block and everything. And Derek showed that he can not only win a competition, even though it's a crapshoot, but then get a complicated plan done. And I think that he's on people's minds. They're aware of what Derek's capable of at this point. So you weren't an easy eviction. You were tough, man. You were tough.
I think his social game, though, is going to – he knows how to bounce back and forth. He knows how to twist some things up. And I was watching After Dark last night, and he was over there talking to Cody on the hammock. As soon as Victoria comes over, he's able to switch gears and get right back into, undercover Derek mode. Yeah. And I think he's going to do all right. At the same time, man, there was no surprise that I was going to get backdoored. I even went to him before. I was trying to bait him hard, dude. I was like, man, I said, if you don't put me up, man, the whole house is going to be pissed. They're going to be gunning for you. You have to put me up. You have to. And, he wasn't buying it. Obviously, I wouldn't have bought it.
No,
that's cool, though.
Derek was too smart to buy that, but you're trying to sell it hard. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do is try to get what you would like done out there. Yeah. I've got a question off of Twitter from LB Culpa, and she asked, it's Lana Culpa, and she asked, at what point did you know that you were in real trouble in the house? Like, at what point were you like, holy shit, this is going bad?
The moment there was no twist in the new week of HOH, I thought I was going to at least get to play. I thought that was going to be a twist. I was hoping it was going to be a twist. So at that moment, I knew I was screwed. As soon as I saw Derek win, I was like, damn, dude. And Nicole, she was a toss in the bag, dude. I didn't know where she stood, but I knew after my week of HOH that I was pretty much screwed, and all I had to do was hope and pray that my name got drawn from the veto.
Yeah.
So,
And you
Well,
put up a valiant effort, man.
put up a-
That was
you put
like
up
one
a
of those
valiant
where it's
fight.
like, oh,
Hey,
this
that
is going to
was-
be awesome.
That was one of the better competitions that they've had in a while. That was creative and fun to watch, and you kicked ass at it, man. Until the competition beast Donnie that nobody's worried about. There's won more competitions than anybody in the house. Talk about that. I would like to. I tweeted out. I felt bad, man, when you lost that competition. I mean, people were cheering. Frankie was crying. I really felt bad. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be rooted against. And that is you handled yourself with class after that. I've got to say, you knew the deck was stacked against you, and you handled yourself with class. There's a question here that's like, why didn't you fight harder? But after people cheer when you lose the power veto, it's like the handwriting's on the wall, and all you can do is maintain dignity and class. And you did. You tried to fight. You tried to get some stuff worked out too. You didn't roll over, of course. But talk to me about that power veto competition, and just give me your thoughts on it, man.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, and after I won the very first one, I knew that Christine was going to target me, and I was actually, I had an idea. I was a little surprised. As soon as she tells me, I want to go against Devin, I'm like, man, this chick has some balls, man. I get up there, and I was muscling through that. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is lose in the first round. And once I got that first one done, I kind of had a strategy, and I realized that it was a puzzle you had to kind of get around. The hardest thing about that was it's a 3D puzzle, and every time you roll, you've got to try and find your number again. It's all over the place, so you lose your sense of direction and everything. When I beat Derek, I definitely had it down. I was good to go, but I didn't realize I'm sitting next to Derek, and I'm like, I'm in the winner's circle basically. I'm like, wait, so I don't go again until everybody plays each other. He goes, nah, bro, I'm gonna call on you right now. And I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, here we go, because the rules weren't really explained too well, and so I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna have to win 4 times. I'm like, this is going to be almost an impossible feat, but I can do it. Yeah. So I get out there. Once I beat Derek, I'm like, all right, Donnie's not going to show any favoritism on me. He's not going to blow up his game with the house, and he wants to go against somebody that's exhausted already. So when I got there, the crazy thing about it is I pretty much had the role to beat Donnie, and I was trying to balance it up there when I was up on the top because I was on the edge. Yeah. And what happened was when you push that cube too hard, it slides. And so I was too many rolls away. And I was trying to balance it, and they basically came over the top. No, that's incorrect. So I rolled it back down. Donnie rolls it up. When I hear the cheers, dude, I was a professional athlete. I've been in many opposing ballparks where people have rooted against me before. The only thing you can do at that point is tip your hat. It was 13 versus 1. And I was glad that I was beaten in that way and not, just, head-to-head. It was 13 house guests versus 1, so I'm proud the way I went out.
No, yeah, exactly. I never even thought about that, where it's like you've actually had professional training, kind of like people cheering against you. Like that actually is pretty helpful because you did come out of it, like as a total class act, where it's like this dude is like, like holy shit, like this guy's got a lot of dignity, really, and that's awesome. Like that made you look just so good, like, exactly. Tip your hat and like, well, you guys, I took over a lot of you, but I don't know. Yeah, you came off of that looking so good.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I wanted to do was be a poor sport. You guys know, dude, there's life in the game, and then there's life that really goes on outside of it. And I lost, dude. I lost the game. I'm not going to flip over the Monopoly board and start, throwing a temper tantrum. It's what it is.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that will do that. There's a lot of people that do that, and like, you don't want to be one of those people at all.
No. Especially not in that arena.
No, not at all.
Because you are on display. You are certainly on display.
Right. It was intense, dude. That was definitely a hard game. But you know what? I was just grateful that I was able to go in there and compete as hard as I did. And honestly, if I would have beaten Donnie, it would have been a cakewalk with Caleb, dude. He was in there. He had no clue how to get that thing on his number. He was so close so many times. I'm like, dude, just walk the thing up to the podium. You're good to go. And he's just sitting there just like, nope, do.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, that did look like a really fun one, but yeah, that one looked really complex, and it looked like it'd be a really big brain buster, That was a really cool competition. I was jealous of you guys for sure.
Yeah, that was a great comp. I want to talk on something you mentioned just a second ago about how there's real life in this game. And I've noticed outside the house, you and Pow Pow seem to have made up. I noticed some good screenshots of text on Twitter. Like we interviewed Pow Pow, and dude, she is fucking awesome, man. We love her to death, and I've noticed that y'all have been talking. So tell us about. Have y'all talked on the phone or anything like that?
Yeah, Miss Kalturu. Yeah, she definitely. Yeah, we've talked on the phone, and she's awesome. I have the utmost respect for Miss DJ Paula, and she's honestly she's the coolest chick that anybody could ever meet, and she's like the tiniest little things, dude. She's like bite sized. You could carry her in your pocket.
Yeah.
But she's a sweetheart. I felt really bad how that went down, and honestly, if it would have been a 6-6 tie, I would have 100% stood up and said, Zach, Palm Beach and the golf course awaits, man.
Sure.
I felt so bad, dude. I couldn't even say anything to her. I knew she was going to be pissed, and I could not wait to actually get my phone to try and get in contact with her when I got out. And she is honestly one of the greatest people anybody will ever get the chance and opportunity to be around. So she's awesome.
That's great, man. I'm glad to hear that y'all are able to leave the game in the house, because that's where it belongs. You know, it's now it's all an experience. You know, it's like, you know, it's an experience we all share, and you know, it should be, you know, there shouldn't be the bad, you know, bad blood left. So I'm glad to hear that, man. That's big of both of y'all, because people can be sore. I mean, when you talk about life-changing money being at play, you can be real sore about things. And so anyway, I'm glad that y'all were able to, you know, put that back. So that's great.
Definitely, yeah.
So
I think she actually watched the last show from Frankie's apartment, dude. I mean, she's all over the place.
She did. Yeah, they did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, what do you think about Frankie's sister being Ariana Grande?
Dude, that was another one, dude. They told me again over the phone, and I literally was speechless, dude. I'm actually I'm a huge fan of his sister's. I actually got a few songs of hers on my iPod. I think she's got an amazing voice. But when he sat there, when they said it, I started thinking back, and I'm like, okay, put some hair on Frankie real long, do this. Yeah, dude, they're almost identical in the face.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I didn't pick that one up, but he actually dropped some stuff. He's like, oh, my sister, what's her name? Ari. And I'm like, damn, how did I not pick that up? And I think that's awesome, dude. But the only thing I don't get about that, of his secret, is why he would lie and say he was 28 and not 31. I don't know where he benefits from that.
Yeah, I don't get where he benefits from that either. That sounds like a lie you'd tell somebody you were just meeting, like in a bar kind of a thing. That's like on Big Brother, like 28 to 31 does not create any social advantage, like noticeably, I don't think, especially to the group. You know,
not at all.
Like it's like there was Donnie in the house, so it's not like he was going to be the old guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was obvious. That was obvious from the second he told that lie. But
if I would have known his sister was Ariana Grande, though, you best believe that I would have done my best to fight to get him to pack his bags, because obviously he doesn't need the money.
Yeah. Well, that would have.
Do you think anyone's gonna figure it out? Do you think anyone in the house will figure it out? Like,
you know what's funny? Out of all people in the house to potentially figure it out, just because she's like a social media, like, you know, in trying to be in the scene, Victoria, she may not be there playing the game, like actually playing it at all. She's at summer camp, so I hear. But you know, she's actually over and over, and I don't know if you guys have caught it on the live feed. I've caught her about 3 or 4 times. Frankie, tell me more about your sister. Tell me more about your sister. So I don't know if she's gotten 2 and 2 together, or she's just genuinely infatuated with Frank or Frankie. But yeah.
I hope she figures it out. I hope someone figures it out. That'd be awesome.
I hope he slipped up, man.
I would almost guarantee that she does not know it is, just because if she pressed it enough, the DR can easily say, so you asked Frankie about his family a lot. Why? You know, that's an easy question to pull your real thought out of for that, in my opinion. So I don't think that she's on it, but Devin, I think you're right. I think Victoria's right. She's right at the right age range, and she's into that kind of stuff enough to figure it out eventually. So.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if the DR, even if they were to pull Victoria, if you know, and try and push her on, I still don't know if she would figure it out. I don't know.
She wouldn't put it together unless she already has. I don't think they could spell it out for her, and she could draw that conclusion. It would be it's too far fetched in a way that you wouldn't expect. It's just
Right.
like
I just have to say this. It has nothing to do with Frankie's sister, but just for you two, I don't know if anybody on your season was more high maintenance, but they actually have to give Victoria a 45-minute call time for her DR session so she can get ready.
Wow, that is pretty high maintenance. Hey, our girls, man, the women our season, they would get up and do hair and be ready to go. They were always want to be camera ready. So we didn't necessarily have anybody that got that kind of princess prep time allowed.
Yeah, princess. That's exactly it. She's awesome. She's a good girl too.
Yeah, normally it's like, can you go splash water in your eyes and come back in here so you don't look like, we just woke you up. That's normally
I know. How many times did you guys get woken up in the middle of the night to whispers, hey, Spencer, McCrae, can you guys come to the DR? It's like, no, I can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Hey, I want to talk about, we hadn't talked about Hayden or Nicole, really, and I don't want to talk about the showmance. I don't give a fuck about that. But as far as, like, the alliance with Hayden, Nicole, and Christine, where do you think that's positioned in the house right now? Is somebody that's played tight within that unit for the most part? Where are they positioned? Are they looking good, or do you think there's going to be problems brewing?
I'll just say that I just think they're literally they're so under wraps and so low key. I wouldn't have even thought about it. Obviously, Christine and Nicole is a given that they are tight, but the way Nicole kind of jokes and gets pissed off at Hayden all the time. Nobody in that house even has a clue. They're literally burrowing underneath the jail, and at any point in time, they could pop up and break free and break loose. They are nuts, man. They're underneath everybody's radar, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that they are definitely dangerous because people don't realize Hayden is a competition beast, and that beer keg, dude, he would have finished first if he would have just kept his balance, taken his time. Same thing with Cody, would have finished second. I would have taken third. Hayden is a monster, dude. He's a monster in comps.
Absolutely. And Hayden is on to Derek. Hayden is if Hayden gets some power, and I think that I hope that he waits until after there's only one HOH after the twist's over. But forgive me, but I'm keep waiting for anybody outside of the original Bomb Squad to win an HOH. I would, that's what just to shake up the house. Just to shake up what's going on. But I want Hayden to get some power. I think the Hayden-Nicole Christine alliance is probably the one to watch as far as longevity in the game.
I agree with you 100%. I think when you keep those alliances small, dude, that was my thing, man. I looked at your guys, the moving company, and you guys had a pretty decent alliance, but obviously, there was some power play in that needed to get going too. But I was literally thinking about the numbers, and that was my biggest mistake, dude. But the small alliances, the Boogies and Dr. Wills, man, they've been proven that if you manipulate the right people going down, you'll be great. Same thing as if you're that solo bandit like Ian, and you're able to go between one alliance and the next, and both alliances find you loyal because you are a quiet player. I mean, that's beneficial too. So
absolutely.
Sure. No, I agree 100%. What about with Joey? You kind of showed you kind of more than liked her. You kind of told her about that in the hangout room. I watched it. Don't you fucking lie to me. I saw that. But she's a cute one. But and then Brittany, you started working on Brittany. Were you wanting to find a showmance, or were you just so emotional because of the atmosphere that you had to tell these people that you were developing these feelings?
No. So with Brittany, man, I was sitting there and I was hoping in my mind that if with Joey, dude, Joey is awesome. Joey was definitely my type. I was actually pissed that she came in single. I was like, hang on, wait a second. You should actually be recasted because you're not single anymore like you were when we were doing the casting process. But with Brittany, Joey kind of just showed some weirdness, and she's very strong personality, and I respect that so much. Obviously, I hope that my little kid can grow up and be as strong of a woman as Joey is. That's awesome. But Joey with the Alex thing and some other things that she did, and then she threw up on me. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. But, I mean, God, dude, any attraction went out the window. Now with Brittany, I needed to make sure at some point that was definitely game. I didn't let anybody know. There was no physical attraction with Brittany. She's a pretty girl. She's cool and all. But I wanted people to think oh, Devin's really going to get distracted potentially with a showmance. at the same time, Brittany is very level-headed, and if there was some sort of bond that we could have during the show, I knew that she would kind of level me out and bring me down and maybe be able to talk to the other house guests, and I would have like some sort of a potent ally.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that. There was nothing. I mean, I brought the girl pickles. I mean, I don't think that's very romantic.
Yeah. I mean, but in that environment, that's still a pretty romantic gesture. I really like what you're onto there, because I told McCrae on the phone probably a month ago that, well, a fun strategy. We always talk about fun strategies to go back in the house with. And one I told him about the other day was it'd be awesome to go back in there and kind of do what Caleb's doing, is to act so distracted by a female in the house that you weren't, that the game was secondary or maybe even like tertiary to what what you were trying to do in the house. Because if you could go in there and act so distracted, like Caleb doesn't seem as big as a threat because they know that he's not mentally engaged in the game as he should be. And the fact that I think it's cool that you're going to try to look a little bit distracted with Brittany to kind of pull yourself away from the game.
Smart, super smart.
Yeah, and there's a difference. There's a difference. I mean, Caleb, man. I mean, as much as he came into that game like a badass, man. He was talking about his military service and the way he handled that first competition, taking his leg and arm off. I mean, dude is a beast. But then all of a sudden, like, couple days into it, he just got this soft spot. And the biggest thing that I can say about Caleb is I respect him so much because he does have a huge heart. This guy this guy's been through some things, but at the same time, man, calling himself daddy and calling Amber his queen, dude, that gets me a little. I'm like, dude, come on, I got douche chills a lot in the house, man. A lot.
Chills.
Chills. You know, right now he's saying that he's got his estrogen levels are raised, which he's catching a lot of shit for that, which is really funny. You know, he wants the estrogen-free protein powder, just something complaining about the other day. But I like Caleb. I'm not talking any shit about him, but that dude is a fucking spectacle to watch because, in all honesty, he's a huge mess. You know, he's a nice guy, and I think that, like, people can see this, like people kind of appreciate that he loves Amber or likes her a lot. It's creepy in a way, but it's kind of like there's no other showmances, so it's kind of like other than like the Hayden and Nicole stuff, which really hadn't made much TV yet. So it's been fun to kind of see this fatal attraction nomance kind of progress. But no, Caleb has saved it by being respectful and nice and kind, and he's made some good TV by trying to be so chivalrous to her, and she's totally rejected it. So, you know, I'm sure that there's a lot of cringeworthy moments for you to experience in the house between those two.
Yeah, there's an underlying story with Amber and her showmances and Caleb and whatnot, but we'll have to talk about it off air. But Caleb, honestly, dude, I'm wishing him nothing but the best in the house. He's a great guy, and he just has his heart in the wrong spot right now. And the Big Brother house is not the place to find love. But he's an awesome, amazing guy, and I'm pulling for him in every way.
Absolutely. Do you let's just say you as some twist you got to go back into the house, and it was clean slate. Okay, let's just let that be. What would you go in? What would your approach now that you've been able to kind of have a god power to see everything that's gone on in the house? Where would you like to be safely playing right now if you were to go back in and play?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I didn't quite catch the question. It faded out.
Okay, like knowing what you know now, that everybody's position in the house. You know where Christine, Nicole, and Hayden lie. You know kind of where, you know, there's the detonators, but then you've got the hitmen, that kind of thing. If you're to go back in knowing all this, which group would you want to most closely align with to get back into the swing of the game? Where would you want to be right now?
You know, probably midway between the Team America. Honestly, they don't have a choice to work together, so that doesn't really count. But it's honestly those three guys, Derek, Frankie, and Donnie. I would love to be nestled somewhere within that group. I really think Derek knows his stuff. Frankie's a great social guy. People love him. Donnie, honestly, man, he is a smart cat, man. He knows this game. He knows very well what he's doing. He is very, very smart, and I would love to be nestled somewhere in there with Christine kind of on the outside, keeping protection. You know.
I like that. I like that.
No, I think it's you know, a very very astute. It's obviously, especially with Frankie's ability to get votes with his sister has always been a big question. How that's going to play into Team America. So far, the challenge has been fairly benign, other than who to get nominated. Even though they could manipulate that any way they wanted to, you could say, "Oh, so and so is so powerful; they're a strong player." And you know, we kind of saw that, I think, with Amber this week. But no, I think that'd be good to have been nestled with them. And I'm glad to see Donnie in Team America, because I really thought that he was such an odd man out that he was going to have trouble staying.
Right.
But I think his Team America affiliation is the only thing that's going to keep him to jury. I think he'll definitely make jury. But there'll be a point where if that alliance fades officially, I don't know how long they plan on carrying on that twist. It'll be odd if it's all season. But I'm glad that Donnie got in that, because I think it's really helped his game.
Definitely, definitely.
So who do you think is playing? Who's getting too much credit? Is Frankie getting too much credit? You don't seem to think so. Or Derek, who's getting too much credit?
In the last couple, honestly, my last days there, in the last episodes I've seen, I don't know if anybody's getting too much credit that's undeserving. The only person I would say is undeserving of some of the credit is yours truly, the preacher, Jacob. You know, I mean, God, dude. I mean, I don't understand. That battle of the block, they might as well have put Amber up in two of those picture slots. I mean, she was solo.
Exactly.
I mean, God, man. I mean, honestly, that was how Jocasta was. I love that lady to death. Much respect to her and her family and her kids. But when she went into that first competition, she knew Caleb was going to throw it. I knew Caleb was going to throw it. Everybody did. But she still worked herself up into this crazy fit of, I don't know what it is. Like, she just gets nervous or what. But she said it was dehydration. I mean,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're all adults and we know how to put the top of water to our lip. It was just tough. And then when you see this next competition, she's just losing it. I don't know what she's doing, if she's channeling evil spirits or what. But that just blows my mind.
I don't get it.
Keep it together.
You know, Devin, I tweeted out that normally I would be very cynical about Jocasta and Jesus' alliance, okay? but after Donnie winning the POV and getting her off the block, and Amber having zero help at all winning the Battle of the Block and saving them, I mean, holy shit! I mean, I'm gonna convert. I'm a believer.
Oh my God! Right?
That is the most successful alliance in the house. I want you to know. Jocasta,
she's an amazing person. Much respect to her and her faith.
Absolutely.
She helped me out a lot in the house when I was lacking in some faith. So much respect to her. It's just really tough to watch. It was tough for me. I kept it inside just as a good sport, but it was tough for me to see her not participate in the veto and still yet be able to wear the veto around her neck.
Oh, that killed me.
Sure. No, absolutely. But that's just one of those things, man, where, like, is somebody watching it, like, you know, they were talking about the odds of, like, I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff of them conspiring against you. They're like 1 in 78. That's our chances of him not getting picked for the veto and blah 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 blah. And so all this shit happened. Zach was doing these like Rain Man stats, trying to figure out what the chances of you getting pulled to play in the comp were. Okay, and then the fact that Jocasta wasn't even going to play totally messed his math up, which I hope somebody even double check, because it's probably so fucking far off. It's embarrassing. But with Jocasta not playing, I mean, we were like, holy shit, there are some odds that are going to be going on in Devin's favor and all this kind of shit, man. It was good TV. You definitely you kept every motherfucker on their toes.
I wish you could have heard Frankie could have heard Frankie in the kitchen after the veto ceremony. He goes, this was his paranoia strike, and he goes, I'll bet you there's like a trap door in the box that they open up, and there's more Devin names, and then they close it after his name's pulled. So I was like, oh my God, man.
That's just like that's the way that Big Brother works. Like, the Big Brother gods, like, if you need to be picked, like, you will be picked. Just like, that's the way she goes, you know? It's like, you might as well just assume that Devin's going to get picked. Like, that's what I would have just been doing, because that's the way it goes. you know?
Yeah.
Just like Donnie and the word splitters, dude. When they revealed that, I'm like, splitters is not a word. Immediately, I'm like, that's not a word.
It's like, I don't think that would be a word.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's how it works. You don't realize that that's how it is until you actually get there and it's real.
It's so real. It's so real and weird. Yeah.
So what was your favorite competition to play in?
You know, I thought the Planet one was great just because I'd seen it on your guys' season with the teddy bears, dude.
The mobile.
Yeah, the mobile, the BB Galaxy. I mean, I thought that thing was sick. When I first got out there and saw it, I was immediately like trying to figure it out before we started. I'm like, okay, here. And what they don't show you in there is halfway through the competition, the whole spinning of the Galaxy. My Galaxy, the ropes broke and almost fell on my head. And so they had to stop the game and they had to restring them and everything, and that's why the Galaxies aligned and stopped. But with it spinning, dude, I wouldn't have gotten that thing figured out. But it was so tough, and once I figured out the counterbalancing of all the planets, I was like, yes, dude. I actually broke my buzzer when I hit the buzzer. It cracked in half.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's so sweet.
So what were all the planets' name? I have to say I was very pleased to hear what was it, Exterminatius?
Exterminatius. There was McCrandon.
Yeah.
Dude, there was Brachel, whatever it is. The Quackpackia. It was awesome, dude.
That's good, man.
That's super cool.
I love all the shout outs, and that's a huge honor. What I mean? So who knows? Like the Bomb Squad will get brought up next year sometime, and it'll be a huge honor to you. So
it'll be called Explodia.
Explodia.
Well, it may be, but it'll still make you tickled as fuck to be sitting at home and hear any reference to you and your season. It will make you very pleased because it's quite an honor.
Definitely.
So, but man, Devin, really, we've covered pretty much from the time you got in the door to the time you walked out. Is there any moments that we're leaving out that you feel like you would like to cover? That just throw out there. Here's just kind of what you got.
No, man. I just want to say if this is where we're coming to an end, that I was so gracious and I'm so humbled to be a part of the Big Brother family and to be there with my brothers in McCrae and with Spence, man. I thank you guys so much, and I thank everybody that was a part of the process. It was really, truly amazing, and I'm forever gracious and humbled to be a part of this. So thank you.
No, thank you, man. It was our honor.
Absolutely, dude. This Big Brother family, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, it's kind of like an odd fraternity of crazy people. I'm going to be honest with you. You will find out, but very good people that will have your back and love you, and you've shared such an odd common experience that the rest of the world hasn't gone through, and it's fun, Devin, and I can't wait till we can meet in person and actually hang out and and be sitting around over a good dinner and talking about it all. So off camera.
some liquor and some beers, bud.
Absolutely.
But, hey, we'll definitely have a good time. But McCrae, do you have anything else, man? Any other questions that you want to throw out there?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, man, this has been a great interview.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Devin, I appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much for your awesome attitude and your patience with getting this podcast going. People at home don't know that there was a power outage in my town, and this thing got delayed. We finally made it all happen, and I appreciate it. Yeah. So, well, all right. Hey, go follow me at Spencer B. Clausen. We got at McCrae Chum from McCrae, and at Devin Shep. BB16 is Devin's handle, and Twitter handle. Go follow him. And are you going to be live tweeting during the shows, Devin? What kind of? Let's talk about that right quick before we just get off. Are you going to be tweeting during the live shows and keeping up with the season as it goes?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be tweeting every night during Big Brother After Dark, and then I'll won't be on the live feeds just to decompress a little bit. Don't want to live that life completely, Absolutely. But I will be tweeting during the shows as well. Absolutely, great, man. I'm glad to hear it, and we'll be in contact through Twitter. And anyway, man, I appreciate it. Thanks again. Thank you, brother. All right, everybody go follow this man. Devin Shepard is a phenomenal human being. I appreciate him being here and joining us. All right, we're clicking off. Bye, everyone. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on the block. Bye. Cheap plug. I got to do it.